Hi, my name is Amber Andrew, and you're about to view a film that I created for the University of Colorado Denver's class on race and ethnicity. Our assignment was to explore a racialized topic of our choice in our own hometowns. And I don't know about you, but I consider race and ethnicity as important and necessary, but also overplayed and hard to apply to my own life. This semester-long study has opened up my eyes to race issues in my everyday life, and I hope that you find my studies interesting and applicable. I fill the requirements of the first assignment by introducing race and ethnicity in my hometown of Durango, Colorado, mostly in the context of my narrowed topic, outdoor adventure. Next, I'll fulfill the final project guidelines as well as the assignment 3 guidelines by diving deeper into the history of race in the area, and then tying in findings from the greater sociological field to highlight the lack of diversity among outdoor activities and sports in general. And finally, I fulfill the requirements of assignment 3 by highlighting various social movements working to combat racism in Durango and the greater Colorado area. Any questions or comments regarding this project can be directed to me at amber.corellaandrew@ucdenver.edu. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, please stay tuned after the final part to see all of the references that contributed to this project. I've put 3 months of work into studying, writing, filming, and editing, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you. What do you think when you hear the word racial diversity? Do you think of violent historical events, classroom discussions, or current political policy debates? Do you imagine an overly discussed topic laden with controversy and academic language? What if that term hit a little closer to home? What if racial diversity was an issue that applied to your day-to-day activities as a small-town Colorado citizen? That might change things. Welcome to my hometown of Durango, Colorado. This small little mountain town houses over 18,000 people and was founded in 1880 when Denver and Rio Grande Railroad extended their line from Durango to Silverton to haul precious metals for miners in the high country. As the mines ran low, tourism increased and people flooded to the area for adventure, arts, and entertainment. Ski resorts, casinos, archaeological sites, museums, hot springs, hunting, rock climbing, canoeing, and kayaking became just a few of the tourist attractions in the area. A Google search on race in Durango is much more likely to turn up a bike or a ski race than an in-depth conversation on diversity and affirmative action. Outdoor activities are what bring Durango residents and visitors together. We ski and we snowboard, we bike to work and we bike down mountains, we hike and snowshoe and fish and hunt. We're more likely to walk to work than to drive. We kayak and raft, we backpack and rock climb. Outdoor stores downtown are constantly busy, and the things in our cars are more expensive than the cars themselves. We don't only adventure on the weekends. We adventure every single day. It's a lifestyle, and it defines us. While this description doesn't apply to every Durango resident, it certainly is a large aspect of the town culture. When people come here, even if they're not the biggest outdoor enthusiasts, they marvel at the beauty of the mountains and enjoy taking rides on open carriages and chairlifts. When I began exploring the topic of race in my favorite little mountain town, I wasn't at all surprised at the severe lack of diversity in this part of the state. The town and county is predominantly white and surprisingly undiverse. According to this racial dot map, where each dot equals one person, the Durango area is covered almost entirely with blue or white representative dots. According to La Plata County Census data, 89% of the county identifies as solely or primarily white. American Indians make up almost 7% and Hispanics 12%. However, a mere 0.6% of people identify as African American, Asian, or other minority groups. Furthermore, the local newspaper, the Durango Herald, researchers found that the La Plata County circulation area includes only 18% non-white readers. What I did find surprising about this research is that it turned up very few discussions going on about racism and racial diversity at all. It was hard to even find 1 or 2 articles that brought the topic up. I found this surprising considering everyone in Durango knows that racism is certainly a problem. why wouldn't they be talking about it? My preliminary research left me more confused than when I started. I wondered about what role Durango's history plays in its modern-day lack of diversity. Is this a universal problem in all outdoor-centric locations? Why does this lack of diversity even matter? Are there special benefits of increasing diversity in outdoor adventure activities and outdoor education? Are there any people out there working to change this? And how does this apply to me? While doing my research, I found a sad and surprising link between the lack of diversity and being an outdoor recreational town. It's almost a running joke how much white people love the outdoors. There are memes poking fun at how white people camp for fun and make black people feel bad for not going outside. Entire articles about stuff white people like to do highlight many outdoor activities such as running, rock climbing, kayaking, and more. I tried to do a Google Images search to see how long it would take to find a non-white person. I didn't see one. Although the outdoor industry associations insist that hiking and camping are for all genders, ages, shapes, sizes, and income levels, their own research has found that an overwhelming 70% of participants are white. Additionally, several studies have shown that schools dominated by minorities have less priority on outdoor education. Although there isn't the KKK standing outside the entrance to national parks and hiking trails, barring the entrance of all minority members, the psychological barriers are real. There are no longer sites that read white only. But despite this, relative to our percentage of the population, racial minorities in the United States utilize the national parks and recreation areas significantly less than their white counterparts. They possess an unsubstantiated belief that they just don't belong, and so they stay away. But the barriers blocking them from nature are not real things. Today, they exist only in the mind. Many researchers and analysts believe that the problem lies in our advertising and marketing campaigns. James Edward Mills, in his books titled The Adventure Gap, Changing the Face of the Outdoors, says that it's not just the altitude and the low temperatures minorities have to get past, it's also the 100 years of people telling them that they can't do something. Mills said that that's as significant a barrier as a headwall, crevice, or avalanche. Mills goes on in his book to explain that this is called the adventure gap, which makes it so that there's a divide between people's aspirations and interests, and their ability to participate in those. In his research, he found that it's not that minorities don't have the desire to get involved, it's just that there's a mental gap created by societal stereotypes. Not only is outdoor recreation portrayed as an upper middle class activity requiring tons of excessive gear, but people of color simply don't see themselves in the outdoors picture, literally and symbolically. All of our outdoor marketing materials are directed for the white majority, never specifically targeting people of color as a market, making the great outdoors seem truly off limits. The outdoors is also portrayed as dirty, uncomfortable, and dangerous, things that simply don't seem as appealing. Additionally, advertisements for job listings usually go out to predominantly white schools, clubs, and areas, resulting in a majority-dominated outdoor staff. This perpetuates the entire cycle. Past history and legislation also contributes to the negative social cues related to the outdoors. Pre-civil African Americans were forced outside, and then when they ran away from slave masters, they were chased into the woods and hunted by dogs and guns. Later, they were taken and hung from trees. Those negative connotations build and become social and societal cues of what you cannot and can do. Prior to the Fair Housing Act in 1956, there were tons of places where people of color were not allowed to live. This caused first urbanization of African Americans who were first into cities and away from rural towns like Durango. While generations of white people swam in open lakes, walked on hiking trails, and viewed the sunset from distant bluffs, African Americans and other minorities were forced to live and stay in the city for years. Ultimately, I found that the outdoor industry in America, and as a result, the whole city of Durango, has become a white space. White spaces are places in society predominantly occupied by white people, which are considered as off limits by people of other races. Black people are often required to enter those spaces simply to exist and to function within everyday society. Despite the long history of the civil rights movement, Because of historical neighborhood redlining, predominantly white areas, churches, schools, workplaces, and more still exist all over Colorado. Despite upward mobility in social classes, blacks are still stereotyped with the low-class ghetto and treated differently as a result. Sadly, many upper-class blacks are required to dance and show off that the stereotypes don't apply to them. Because Durango is the gateway for native Mexicans traveling to look for work in the United States, racial tensions with the Hispanics have been present throughout the community. Many Mexican immigrants report comments referring to them as stupid Mexicans, and many other racial slurs leading to people moving, high school dropouts, and mistreatment in the downtown area, receiving unequal treatment at restaurants and retail stores alike. Native Americans have also reported feeling discriminated against. They feel like the city proper is off limits. And how sad that an entire people group native to the area have pushed away to the extent that they don't feel welcome. Although hate crimes are rarely reported or recorded, the numbers don't necessarily mean that they don't exist. Why does this matter? There are so many racialized topics in need of addressing in today's American culture. Economic challenges, education, the social justice system, only to name a few. So what makes participation in outdoor recreation so important? Some say that minorities simply don't have an interest in going out in nature. What's the problem with that? I came up with 6 reasons why increasing the diversity in America's outdoor recreation is important. Number 1 is that connection with nature is inspiring and encouraging. It's beneficial to the individual. One African American woman, Audrey Peterman, never visited a national park because everyone told her that black people don't do that. When she saw Acadia Park in 1995, she had compared it to wandering out of the small kitchen she had grown up into the grand living room of a giant mansion. Now she helps to spread the word about the importance of nature in every American's life. This connection to the land is a phenomenon known as biophilia, a theory that human beings need nature not only for recreation, but also for a physical reality. We as humans need nature to be fully human. Relaxing in nature and participating in restoring ecosystems creates a connection between the restoration of the land and our own lives and future. Number 2, moving outside also benefits a person's physical health. Besides the obvious exercise and obesity examples, I found countless examples of nature deficit disorder increasing ADD, anxiety, and depression. Simply being outside also increases levels of serotonin, or the happy hormone, and decreases cortisol, the stress hormone. Number 3, nature increases self-awareness, self-confidence, self-efficacy, and the ability to overcome challenges. It also increases assertiveness, emotional stability, maturity, reductions in aggression, mental strength, social competences, and interpersonal skills. Now, who doesn't want that? Number 4, nature centers learning opportunities, increase retention, test scores, and focus levels in students. Research results show positive improvements up to 70% in everything from math and science to attendance. Being outside increases focus and motivation. It's going to be hard for us to discuss gaps in academic achievement between races if we don't take into account the level of outdoor recreation each student has access to. Number 5, people protect what they know. So it's important that we teach younger generations of minority students to grow up with a real love for the environment. Place-based learning produces a more sustainable environment, encourages development of lifelong relationships, health-enhancing habits, appreciation of nature, and really stimulates learners to discuss ideas, particularly the democratic issues that are centric to our civic lives. If we are going to have beautiful parks, beaches, and forests for future generations, it's up to us to train the rising generation in a love for the earth, in addition to environmentally friendly practices. Number 6, positive community attitudes towards racial and economic and ethnic diversity creates a vibrant city economy. Positive attitudes and efforts such as creating dual language signage, community training, and inclusion policies attracts new industries that boost local and state economics. Talking about racism can be painful, but it's something that we will have to be instituted among law officers, teachers, business owners, students, and more. According to John Dulles of the U.S. Civil Rights Commission, the bottom line is that in order to be an economic power, you must embrace diversity. There is a direct tie between minorities feeling comfortable and economic success. Here is a pyramid that shows the benefits of engagement. I don't know about you, but those benefits sound pretty great. I hope that we can continue to reduce the perception of the outdoors as a white space, and all people can have access to all the wonderful benefits of the outdoor lifestyle. It's a little sad that so many Americans are left out of the picture and excluded from these benefits, and hopefully these results can trickle down and help make Durango a more diverse place as a result. How can we make Durango more diverse? Let's look at some graphs. These statistics show that running, fishing, biking, and camping are among the most popular outdoor activities for all Americans, regardless of ethnic or racial affiliation. Here you can see that running is a favorite activity for all groups. This leads me to believe that a greater investment in running and jogging trails would cater to the minority population in the area. Here are the things that motivate people to get outside based on various races and ethnicities. Getting exercise is the leading motivation, with getting fit and being with family being a close second and third. These motivations, as well as the others, should be harnessed in order to target greater minority involvement. This is my favorite chart of the whole presentation because it gets to the heart of the issue on why diverse populations don't participate in outdoor activities more often. All ethnicities and races agree that the number one reason why they do not participate in outdoor activities is not because they don't have money to or because they're physically unable to, but because they're simply uninterested. This is really sad to me. This means that all the campaigns to make outdoor activities more affordable are not going to be successful if we don't first address the problem of lack of interest. Based on this research, we really need to work on changing the perception of outdoor activities in order to increase knowledge and interest of what it means to get outside. One study found that outdoor adventure is being portrayed as too expensive, dirty, and uncomfortable, and dangerous, so we need to confront a few things. First, we need people dedicated to managing the cost of gear. Second, we have to change the focus away from a fear of getting dirty towards the beauty and fun that's experienced outside. Third, we need to educate students and adults that outdoor activities don't necessarily have to be extreme sports. And finally, safety training minimizes accidents and makes people feel safer in the outdoors. Throughout this research process, I did finally find people who are working to make a difference in the Durango area. Groups from the local school district, Fort Lewis College, and the Durango City Council have all worked to address the problem. One collaborative effort aimed to create a diversity-embracing initiative where people throughout the community could come and express their ideas and experiences. People shared how discrimination affected them. Some say they feared critiquing their elders. Others noted socioeconomic challenges. Organizations such as Trail Elevation Wilderness Ministry and Prosper X Youth Ranch aim to take underprivileged and minority kids into the wilderness to experience community and nature. A group called the Dirty Hands Collective identifies as an anarchist group who calls for justice and equality among various racial groups. They also recently rallied at the Durango Fairgrounds in support of the cause Black Lives Matter. After reporting on several discriminatory acts against Native Americans and Mexicans, the Durango Telegraph suggests the creation of a Human Relations Committee to help diffuse racial tensions, foster community, and deal quickly with any problems that might come up, including working with police to prosecute offenders. The Durango Nature Study is a nonprofit dedicated to providing nature, science, and environmental education to kids of all races and ethnicities. They emphasize appreciating nature and the unique landscape of this part of Colorado. The Durango 9R School District is teaching tolerance by changing the negative perceptions students may have of Hispanics and minorities in general. They have held focus groups and youth summits to enforce safety and build teacher skills, so they are able to better handle bullying and racism. The Task Force on Minority Student Achievement will focus primarily on improving the achievement of Hispanic students, curbing racial intimidation so the students feel welcome and safe at school. Although these efforts are definitely only one drop in the bucket, they're certainly a good start. They give us a picture of what society could look like if all races and ethnicities felt welcomed and included in the outdoor arena. Although I started my research doubtful, I ended with hope that racism won't always persist. There are people in our community, and all around the world really, working towards peace and justice, and that's really a reason to get excited. So what can you do? You can start by analyzing yourself and eliminating any prior stereotypes or judgments you may have about another race or ethnicity. Very few people actually mean to be intentionally racist, but the subconscious beliefs ingrained in each one of us end up being the harmful thing to those around us. Next, do a quick Google search and see what organizations in your area are fighting to combat racism and get involved. As the last part of this project showed, there is a vast array of ways to work towards peace and justice. Why not get involved? Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to see all of the great references I used to create this project.